Today's question reinforces the importance of evidence in SAT reading. Every right answer must be supported by specific evidence that you can find in the text, and every wrong answer will go wrong for one reason or the other because it doesn't have the evidence to support it, or it goes too far, it goes beyond the evidence in the text. The SAT is not a test that rewards creativity or interpretive flexibility or, some of the skills you may have learned in English class, which are, still going to be based on evidence, but a lot of times in English class, you're engaging with text in a more personal way. You are trying to relate to them, find your own personal reactions to them. You're trying to think ahead about possibilities and what's plausible, what could happen. None of that is useful on the SAT. It is all very hard-headed activity. What's in the text? What's the question looking for? Which choice fits with the text? So let's see what we have here. What does the text indicate about the discovery of the sandal? So, the ice melted on a Norwegian mountain during a particularly warm summer in 2019, revealing a 1,700-year-old sandal to a mountaineer looking for artifacts. The sandal would normally have degraded quickly, but it was instead well preserved for centuries by the surrounding ice. According to this archaeologist, the sandal, like those worn by Imperial Romans, wouldn't have offered any protection from the cold in the mountains. So some kind of insulation, like fabric or animal skin, would have needed to be worn on the feet with the sandal. So now we want to know, what does this text indicate about the discovery of the sandal? So we look at choice A. The discovery revealed that the Roman Empire had more influence on Norway than archaeologists previously assumed. So here's the thing. Is it possible that, with further study and further comparison of these results to previous results in history or archaeology or anthropology, that a conclusion like this might be drawn? Sure. Seems like very reasonable is where this could go. But that's the problem. It's not where this text could go. It's what does the text say? Does the text say anything about Roman influence on Norway? And specifically what archaeologists had assumed or not assumed. It does not say that. So it doesn't matter how plausible this is. It's not right. How about B? The sandal would have degraded if it hadn't been removed from the ice. Do we see evidence for that? Well, it does say the sandal would normally have degraded quickly, but it was instead well preserved for centuries by the surrounding ice. So if anything, this is the opposite of what the text is saying. You actually have evidence against this choice. It's not like choice A. Choice A, there's just no evidence for it. That's wrong for its own reasons. But a choice, of course, that the text contradicts is going to be wrong, right? This choice is saying that it would have degraded if it hadn't been removed from the ice, but what was keeping it preserved in the first place was the ice. So for that reason, we can get rid of B. Now, how about C? Temperatures contributed to both protecting and revealing the sandal. So, turns out we're going to have evidence for this. First piece of evidence is right here. The ice melted, revealing this sandal. So first, temperature, so warmer temperature, a particularly warm summer, melted this ice, revealing what had been previously surrounded by it. But at the same time, the ice, the cold, had well preserved it. Like normally the sandal would have degraded, but it was preserved because it was surrounded in ice. So it was like a perfect confluence of temperature doing what we would need it to do to both preserve this artifact and then reveal it when it's the right time, I guess. So C is looking pretty good. We have evidence. I'm able to point to specific lines in the text that support this. There's nothing about the choice that's unsupported or goes too far. So I like C. Let's look at D. Archaeologists would have found the sandal eventually without help from the general public. Again, like choice A, is it possible, plausible, even likely that D is true? Perhaps. You could imagine, maybe eventually one day as temperatures continue to go up or, in warmer summers, whatever the case may be, someone would have stumbled on it at some point. Sure. Very plausible. But very plausible, sure, sounds pretty good. That is not good enough, right? Where's the evidence? Where does the text specifically say, or at least strongly imply, D? It doesn't. All we know is that it was a warm summer. Someone who was looking for artifacts found it. Cool. What could have happened is totally speculative. So the only choice that has the evidence to support it, and therefore is the right answer, is choice C.